Greetings all, Frog here. Let's play some Factorio. Now, as promised afterward in the last episode, I did scout around a little bit, so we've got a little more of our map placed in, and that water is huge. So I don't know exactly where in Factorio that this water generation has changed, but this definitely is different than when I was playing in previous alphas. I just upgraded to 0.11.21 before recording this and starting a new series. I have not seen water that big since Bentham's Rail World. So I think he started somewhere at 0.11.10 maybe or 12. So it's been a while since I've updated. So anyway, here we are. We've got our automated coal production here. You can see they've stopped working. That means they must be full. And they are. I've got 50 out of each of them, so now we go, and they are going along again. And I've run out of fuel here, so we're going to come in here and add all of that fuel in, and we're just going to load it up. Same thing down here. Just load it up as much as it can take. Grab the copper out, or excuse me, grab the steel out of here. Again, if you hit the Alt key, you can see what is going on. I swear, every time that autosave, that's another new feature, and I'm still trying to get used to that. I do have the autosave set, I believe, every 5 minutes, just to make sure, in case something catastrophically goes wrong. This is an alpha. It should still be fine, but just in case, I've got the autosave on, and every time it comes up, I think something has gone catastrophically wrong. But no, it's just the autosave. So see here, we've got our copper. Trees can grow on it, so let's just get rid of those, clear it up a little bit here. I'm not actually going to mine the copper myself. That sounds like a machine's job. So what more do I need? I need the stone. All right, so I'm going to come down here. I'm going to get 10 more stone. That is enough for 2 furnaces, which is enough stone to actually get me some burner miner drills, which will then allow me to automate collecting of all this. Now I'll just put them into wooden chests. Actually, so while I'm collecting this, let's craft a couple of chests. If I right click, I'll get 5, and that seems like enough for now. Wooden chests are almost all you need for actually most of the game. You don't need a significant increase of size until later in the game. Iron chests are almost not really worth it because you can go straight up to the steel. There are some arguments one way or the other, but I'm going to stick with wood for now. Okay, so I hit the 1 key because that's in my hotbar spot. I can put that down. Plunk that chest down. I don't need 2 of them. I hit Q. If I've got 2, I hit 2, so that gets all that in. Q gets rid of it. Alright, so I'm going to come down here, steal a little of that, and I'm just going to put it into here. So that burner's never going to go. That's perfectly fine. So now I'm collecting all the stone I might need in the future. I'll come over here and set up a copper chest. At the beginning, you really only need 1 stone furnace and 1 or 2 copper, and then you're going to need 3 or 4 iron to really get it going. What we're going to want to do eventually is just really get this stuff automated. Really? Okay. Alright, so that'll get us started. Let's come on over here. Are you still working? Well, I see clouds. You notice that there are wind effects. So this is blowing in a different way than the first video. That does affect the pollution layout, so it is getting wider as I'm adding more and more things. If there are no biters within my pollution network, they'll ignore me, even if they're not on peaceful mode. It's not until the pollution starts affecting them. Okay, so I want to automate, right? I want to be able to build these things without me having to interfere. All right, I'm not going to do a complete no crafting challenge. Those are cool, but that's not my purpose here. My purpose is trains. I want lots and lots of trains. So in order to get up there, we have to create our automation facility. And in order to do an automated facility, we're going to need power. All right. So there's a couple of things. One I haven't talked about yet is the research. So I just hit T, as you said up there, press T to start new research. This is all the research in the game, sort of. There's actually more than this because many of these have different levels that just stack on top of each other. So here we see there's automation 1, 2, and 3. These are separated. But here we just see shotgun shell shooting speed 1. Well, there are, I think, 5 or 6 of these that just replace themselves in the window. So it's just a way of keeping space. So automation, what this does is allows us to build assembly machines and allows us to build long-handed inserters. Inserters take materials from one place and put them into another. which we're going to want many of these things. It also then allows us to research electronics. So we can see here electronics is in red. We can't research it because it requires automation. Once we research electronics, then that unlocks automation 2, advanced electronics, electric energy distribution, lab efficiency, and rocketry. Eventually, what we want to do, as quickly as we can, is to get optics so that we can actually see things. And they've changed the picture for optics, actually. That's kind of cool. And it had a different picture on it. And that gives us lamps, which is what we're going to need to be able to see. But first, we're going to start with automation, because this is the key of our entire factory. So here we can see it crafts items that require up to 2 ingredients. Each one, to build one, it takes a half a second. They're really quick to make. You just need electronic circuits, gear wheels, and iron plates. But then it does use energy, 90 kilowatts. In order to run these, we need power. And then the crafting speed is 0.5. So it's actually half as fast as it could be. And the better assembling machines obviously will perform better. So I'm going to go ahead and research this. Now, you see the cost? It takes 10 units, and also 10 science packs. We don't have any science packs. We also have no way to research. In order to get that happening, we need to set up a rudimentary power station. So to get some rudimentary power, I'm going to need an offshore pump to get some of this beautiful, beautiful water into our facilities. And then I'm going to need some pipes to pipe that water through some boilers, which will boil the water in order to create steam power. That's how we start with the electricity at the beginning of the game, is steam. And eventually you can upgrade to solar, but those are the only 2 types of power in the game without mods. Some of the mods will increase your solar capacity or increase steam engines and the like. I haven't really looked too hard to see if there are any mods that introduce other types of energies like wind power or nuclear. I believe there is some nuclear and it adds uranium ore and all that business, but I'm not playing with those. All right, so let's get some iron in order to make... I think that might be all we need. To make the boilers, we need stone furnace and pipe. Pipe is just iron, so we see I need 5 stone and an iron plate to make a boiler. And to make the steam engine, I have everything I need. I just need a whole bunch of iron. So I need some of these in conjunction. I also need my offshore pump here. That's right. That's where I need the copper. It does require some electronic circuits. And in order to get circuits, you need to create copper cables, which needs the copper plates. So we're going to come over to our copper here, which should be nice and handy. Snag some of that. How's our coal is doing okay there? Let's make sure coal is okay over here. We're doing all right over there. We'll snag some more just to make sure that our copper is well stocked. Okay, how are you doing? You're doing fine. Come back over as I'm doing all of this traveling. Oh, I've got copper ore. Oh, this is me being silly. I didn't notice that I had just put this into a box. A box is not helpful to us. Iron ore doesn't do the job. I actually need another stone furnace. So I have to smelt the ore into iron plates. Excuse me, into copper plates in this instance. So come down here. We'll just grab all the stone. I'm not worried about inventory space yet. Lag. No. Those autosaves. They're a killer. So again, sorry it was dark if you couldn't see what I was doing. I was running back and forth in between. So here I'll craft some stone furnaces. I'll just get 5 of them because we're going to need a whole bunch. So those are in spot 1. I'm not going to see there. I tried to place over myself. Doesn't let me. Alright, and we will load these bad boys up. Load that up into there. Get that over. Put all of the copper ore I have. Just make sure to load these up. Alright, so now that we've got some copper plates, that's not enough. Alright, we're up to 3 copper plates. That's enough to make 1 offshore pump. That's all I need. 1 offshore pump is enough to power up to 10 steam engines. And to do 10 steam engines, I'm going to want 13 boilers at full capacity. So I'm not going to do all the boilers now because it's very resource intensive. I'm just going to create pipes, but I'm going to leave enough space that that's available. Then our first set of automation is going to be building some transport belt to burn the copper here. Mine the copper here. The copper. It's been one of those days, guys. To take the coal here and then feed it into our burners. So here we go. Let's take our offshore pump. We're going to put that down. See, it wants to go right here. I'm close enough now. Boom, there it is. So now I'm going to create Actually, I could create all 13 boilers now, but I really don't want to do that. I will create just one steam engine, and I'm going to create I'll create 5 boilers. So create the 5 boilers, then I need some intermediary. Nope, pipes are in the beginning. I'll create 15 pipe. I'm just going to do a straight line. And I have 5, I crafted 5 burners, or boilers, so I want 5 burner inserters. Bunch of different types of inserters here. The 2 that we have access to at the beginning are burner inserters. They need energy consumption. You can see it's 180 kilowatts in order to run a burner inserter, but they burn coal or wood, for that matter, or any solid fuel, any other type of burnable resource. Unlike our electronics inserters, or the plane inserters, which require electricity. Alright, so I've got all the material I need. So I'm going to start with, first off, my 5 pipes. Oh, perfect. I have a hand like a surgeon. Alright, so there we go. Those are the 5. Now I'm going to place 8 of my pipes down. Not 9, but 8. So now I can see that there's water running through the pipe. So I've got the pump. I've got water running through. You can see the temperature is 15 degrees. That's in Celsius. So I have 15 degree water. In order to be useful to my steam engine, it must be 100. Okay. Now, this is showing me a couple of things. One, I don't have any power hooked up to this, which does remind me I need to craft some power poles, so I'll need to get some more copper. But I don't have anything hooked up. So even if I get the requisite hot water into here, it's still not going to run because it has nothing to power. Did I do this right? I think I did. So I'm going to craft all the transport belt I can, because I'm going to need a bunch of transport belt. I'm going to chop down some miscellaneous trees on the way, because I'm going to need more wood. I can see my iron axe is almost out, so now that I actually have a fair amount of raw resources, I will craft probably 5 more of those, and they will automatically replace themselves when they're out. So let's go back to the axes, just do 5 more of those. So that way they won't bother me when they run out. Craft some more stone, because why not? I'm doing the rounds. Those are full. Now they're not. And we will move them shortly over to this field of ore right here. Alright, so now I'm going to take my inserters. This will tell you the arrow. The arrow is the direction towards their insertion. The line is where they're receiving from. So I put those 5 in a row. And I'm going to use some transport belt, and I can rotate this in any of the 4 cardinal directions. I'll get a little closer. And there we go. So I've now got some transport belt in. So what this is going to do, I'm going to mine some of this ore here. It's going to come onto the transport belt and go that way. I actually don't think I have inserters until I research more. Or not inserters, rather, but splitters. Yeah, I don't. So we'll have to do some more research. This is all just to start our research. So I'm going to need a science lab to do my research. So I can build one of those already. So away we go. And I'm going to need 10 science pack 1s in order to get automation. Once I have automation, it's going to make my science packs for me, so I won't have to worry about doing that in the future. So you can see down here all the things that I've queued. It's making all of these iron gears in order to make this science lab. And it's making these gears for those science packs, etc. I can create them in groups of 5. If I just click 5, it goes 5 by 5. If I click 1, 1 by 1 by 1 by 1, it'll actually add them up so long as it hasn't started making any of the intermediary products yet. Autosaves. They're driving me nuts. Alright, so rather than craft new burner drills, we're going to come over here and we're just going to pick them up. So I can deconstruct them just like any other product. And I get all of the coal that's in them automatically into my inventory. If for some reason there's no room, then they will pop out onto the ground. So you want to be careful with that. It's gotten much better about those restrictions, but they are still there. So you can see I can put this out on the water a little bit. It shows me the expected resources of about 1,000 coal. So that's not bad. This one over here, about 1,800. So it just mines the 4 spaces, the 4 tiles that are underneath it. So I got to kickstart them. So I put the coal in. And same thing here, I'll put some coal in. And eventually, these are going to turn into... start putting 1 in here, 1 in here. What I'm doing is I'm coming into the inventory, right-clicking, that puts in 1. So these have started. And now what will happen is the burner inserters will pick up coal for themselves first, and then they're going to power my boilers. So we can see already the temperature of the water is going up. And it's not quite to 100 degrees yet at the end of this run, but it will be. So these guys are greedy. They're going to pick up the coal first until we get to enough resources that they are stocked. I think the stock pile is 5. Yeah, so long as there's 5 left over. So it's going to do that for each of them, and then it's going to start building up on the belt. I was talking about my splitters because I wanted to have them on both sides of the belt. I could have put the belt in the middle, had both of these facing each other, run it up, so there's one on each. But I'm okay just having a one-sided belt for now. And eventually it'll come across all of this way up to here, so that way it can power all of these boilers that I'll have eventually. Now that it's sunny outside again, it'll be a little easier to see as well. So I have a science lab. I need a science lab to research. I see both of these have no power. So in order to have power, I need power poles. So let's just go ahead and build all 20 of these because we will need plenty of power poles throughout our experience here in Factorio. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and add our transport belt all the way. This is not the final location of our science. This is just temporary. This is just to get things done. So I can research my automation and start going. And I'm going to start thinking ahead to, I think I'm going to get more iron while I'm waiting for this to craft so that way I can create more of these drills. So do my rounds, make sure there's enough coal everywhere. Alright, we do need more iron, like I said, than we need copper at the beginning, but it's still good to have some on hand. So I'm going to leave those guys right there. And our goal for the end of this video is just to get the automation science done. So I plunk a power pole here. The cyan is the range of its electrical capabilities. You can see it automatically wants to connect them as far as they possibly can go. So this is too far. That's okay. So now my steam engine is creating. I have a science lab. I'll throw in the science packs, and now it's creating science. We're working on automation. So it's going to take 10 seconds per cycle of technology. I need 10 total cycles, so it's going to be 100 seconds of action here. So it's going to go do a little research as we go along. I will now have to pay attention because these don't feed into each other. So in order for them to keep moving, there's going to have to be some bit of a watch to make sure that they are still going. Since this one is already backed up, I'm going to just rotate it. It'll feed this one. No, that's a bad idea. We're just going to leave it like this. So it will run down, but that's okay. There's my stone. We're going to get some more iron going. So I'm going to get 5 more of these bad boys. That'll be enough. The 5 more of those will actually take me through until we get to electricity. We can already build the electric mining drills, which actually I think I will build one of those here at the end and replace my coal mining with an electric drill, just so I don't have to keep feeding them. And then I'll have plenty. So that'll give me the 4 that I have on the board, plus 5 more is 9. That should be plenty. We'll switch to electric here before too long. And like I said, we'll start with my electric right in here. Unfortunately, you can't just build over top, so I do have to collect them back in. I can grab my drill, and now you can see it has a much bigger mining area. So if I do this, it's going to mine everything that's underneath there. Now, I already have, there is some coal underneath here, so it's going to grab that even though it's under the belt. But I do need some towers, so now I'll run a cable. And here we are. Our automation is done. We're ready to mine. Obviously, it's already done because I've built up quite the backlog of iron. Of coal. And that's it. We're ready. So we got power online. We got our science started. But the next episode, we're going to start for real. So we're going to start going heavy on our iron mining, heavy on our copper mining, and start automation so we can actually build our science that we need. So just to sort of plan it out in this area, because I'm already here, this will be where our power goes. So I'm going to have 10 of our steam engines coming out this way in both sides. And my science is going to be up on the top. I can bring any coal I need around the edges. And I'm going to start smelting, I think, in this area. And we could do some bigger smelting in this cleared area here or there. Either one will be perfectly fine. I'll scout that out a little bit more so I'll know what's going on before we start the next episode, but that is our goal. We're going to start up our science, and we're going to start up especially smelting to really start going. So, as I said, this is a bit of a slow start. It always is with Factorio, but before you know it, we're going to be hitting the ground running and having a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Consider clicking the like button if you did. It certainly helps out a lot, especially in the search rankings. Do subscribe if you'd like to stay updated for more. And I will see you next time. Cheers.